Well, so we hope that you enjoyed that. And we're ready to do the newspapers. Mamavi has the daily graphic, so we'll do the daily graphic. After that, I'll do the Ghanaian Times.
What's called the daily graphic? Because it's a graphic on the daily.
Yeah. It's a graphic on the daily. What do you mean by it's a graphic?
Line in somebody's song.
Because I know it's a newspaper. I hope that the person also didn't, or you have been taken by that.
Oh my God, let's do the daily graphic.
Do you know, usually when we're reading newspaper, graphic when I can.
Yeah, every newspaper is graphic.
Graphic when I can.
Front page of the daily graphic newspaper, SNIT verified certificates of workforce. Also, Communications Minister refutes corruption allegations. So, Mrs. Esla Osue-Kufo comes with this headline on front page of the paper. The banner headline, though, ports go paperless. System to be fully tested today. And GJ cautions media on reportage on businesses. Media Foundation for West Africa disagrees. Let's go to page 16 and pick the SNIT story. We know why they would say that they validated their workforce. It says the academic certificates of 2,465 workers of the Social Security and National Insurance Trust SNITs are being verified by the trust as part of moves to cleanse the system of possible fake certificate holders. Shame on them.
But who said that? Who said that we say they have certificates?
Shame on them. It means that they know themselves that there may be a lot more.
It could happen in it could happen to any. It could happen to any institution, Mamavi.
Yeah, it could. But I mean, shouldn't you have systems checking? Just a simple check.
Has it been done at Joy?
Yeah.
Multimedia.
Yeah.
We do. Question we also.
We do. I know that they do.
All right.
They do. Okay, so let's move on the second paragraph. The exercise comes against the backdrop of the revelation that the dismissed head of the Management Information Systems of the Trust, Dr. Kaleba Faglo, had used fake certificates to gain employment with SNIT in 2015. According to the Director General of SNIT, Dr. John Oforitin-Kwang, the management gave the directive to the Human Resource Department 2 weeks ago as part of moves to cleanse the system of possible corporate. I tell you what, if your Human Resource Department has not done this already, then you should dissolve it and find new people in that department. Seriously, because this is, you know, like the basic thing you do when you're employing someone. Why do they put people on probation? It's just so during that period, you can do all the background checks that, and fortunately for those of us who schooled in Ghana, it's so easy. Just contact that tertiary institution that the person claimed to have attended, and they're going to officially respond to you whether or not that certificate came through them.
What if it's the University of Papua New Guinea?
I think that's even, I said it's easier in Ghana, but I think it's even super easy when it's outside. Yeah, just write officially, formally to the institution. An email? Yeah.
Not a postal.
Imagine if you're writing to Oxford or Harvard. I mean, I think it's just like that. Yeah. So the communications minister's story, that allegation that's been thrown at her by a member of parliament, Ken Ejapon, she issued a press statement and she's refuting all those allegations. The Minister of Communications, Mrs. Esla Osue-Kufo, has vehemently refuted corruption allegations leveled against her by the Member of Parliament for Asin North, Mr. Kennedy Ejapon, concerning certain contracts at the National Identification Authority. And I'm just going to fast forward to a bit of the explanation that she gives in the paper. Mrs. Osue-Kufo explained that the NIA was not an agency under her ministry, as had been alleged, but that it was under the presidency. And she continues to explain. But she also says in that statement that she had not been contacted, Roland, by the CID, those who are expected to be investigating this allegation. So we see how this goes, but I don't know, is she going to sue because somebody is alleging that she's been involved in some corrupt acts? But all eyes on this paperless system today. We'll see how this goes. It says the much touted paperless clearance system at the Tema port, which took off without any hitches last Friday, September 1, 2017, is expected to prove its mettle when normal business resumes today, because Friday was a holiday, so you couldn't have absolutely tested it to its core. We'll see how the paperless stands today. Totally paperless. Abby? All right.
I have a friend, Fred Nyamiche, also he does freight forwarding and all that.
Yeah. There's a story on page, which was at 84, the Media Foundation for West Africa also issuing a statement on a statement that had been issued before by the GJA. Very interesting times. I don't even know, what's the direction of the GJA, by the way?
Are you a member of the GJA?
I am, but I'm not sure I'm a member in good standing. I don't remember the last time I paid my dues. Okay. So
you're not a member in good standing?
Yeah, but it's almost like I don't care because I don't know.
So it means you're not a member, really, in good standing?
The Ghana Journalists Association has cautioned. I'm a proud associate member of the Institute of Public Relations Ghana. I am super proud of that. I can't say about the GJA, unfortunately.
But
the Ghana Journalists Association has cautioned the media to be circumspect in their reportage, especially with regard to investigative stories. In a statement signed by its president, Mr. Afelmoni, the GJA urged journalists to verify all facts when they conducted any investigative piece, adding that such reportage must be strictly guided by ethical values and especially the GJA Code of Ethics. And it continues to say, but the point is, we don't even know why the GJA, led by its president, Afelmoni, decided to even issue the statement in the first place. So the Media Foundation for West Africa also decided, to issue a statement based on the earlier one that had been issued by the GJA. So here we go. The Media Foundation for West Africa, it's a meanwhile to the story in the graphic, has condemned the GJA statement and urged the association not to undermine investigative and anti-corruption reporting. A statement signed and issued by the Executive Director of the Media Foundation for West Africa, Mr. Suleiman Abrahima, said it was surprised about the stance taken by the association. Quotes, to the casual observer of developments in the media landscape in Ghana, the GJA statement may pass as an ordinary, regular or normal advisory notes from the leadership of the association to its members. But as active and conscious observers of developments in the media landscape, the content, context, timing and vagueness of the GJA statement cannot but leave us wondering as to what could have prompted and or motivated such a statement from the leadership of the association, given the palpable absence of context and the lack of reference to any specific recent or past instances that could warrant the unusual cautionary note from the GJA, it said. And that's just a bit of that statement that's also been issued by the Media Foundation for West Africa. So you can read the full story in the Daily Graphic newspaper. Quickly, let's look at what's making back page headline in the graphic. 11,000 people register under Youth in Agric. So the Youth in Agric and Agriculture program has registered 11,000 youth farmers across the country as part of the government's efforts to entice the younger generation into the sector. Details of that on the back page of the Daily Graphic newspaper. Roland? Okay,
so we have to do the Daily Guide. On the front page of the Daily Guide, we have EC boss, $14 million contract on the probe. GJA cautions journalists against trial by the media. Ursula denies corruption tag and Ginablé presents letters of credence. Those are the stories we have. Center spread, it's always called News One, is a pull-out. So they always have this pull-outs there every day. The story...
Duncan Williams showers love and attention.
Oh,
that's him and his wife.
All right. And now we have... I find nothing wrong with my dressing. That's one of the Latter-day Saint musicians. I love her songs very well. No hairdressing.
Who's that? What's her name?
Ebony.
Oh, that's Ebony.
I love her songs, no hairdressing.
Yeah, but she says she finds nothing wrong with the way she dresses.
Yeah, but that's my opinion too. But I love her songs. Ruth Kwashi crowned Miss Universe Ghana 2017, and plus-size women dance for car. We know that it's called Diasa by a local TV station here in Accra. It's a digital station. I've watched a couple of those episodes. Very funny though. The last one I was watching was somewhere in Takoradi, the Western Regional Capital.
All right, so from the Daily Guide, we move on to the Finder newspaper. Front page of the Finder, 424,092 to enjoy free SHS. Question, will it end the misery of over 100,000 students who are placed each year but fail to report. Also, Cosmos doles out over $100,000 to fund agric startups. President Akufo-Addo urges Muslims to remain worthy ambassadors of peace. 2017 revenue mobilization exercise takes off this week, according to the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. Definitely a story of interest, with a big question that the Finder is asking this morning. It has now been established that 424,092 students have qualified to be placed in the various senior high schools, as well as technical and vocational education and training schools under the Ghana Education Service across the country. They constitute the first batch of students to enjoy the free SHS policy introduced by the NPP government as one of its flagship policies. Under the program, first-year students who qualify to senior high schools will not be charged admission, library, science center, computer laboratory examination, and utilities fees, among others. But you can fast forward to the big question that they're asking, because a huge number, doesn't show on each year, but they're asking, the fact that they're going to school for free, would it mean that this number that they put, which is 100,000 students, will they all report this time? We'll see how it goes. But if they do, would the system also not be choked? I mean, will we not have too many children in the schools, the various schools? We wait to see. Okay, there are a lot more headlines in the paper. You can find time and read. That's it for the Finder, Roland.
So we look at the Ghanaian Times. It's a story that apparently emerged from Tema. The Member of Parliament for, is it Tema West? That's Carlos Kinsley-Hinkra and TMA. They clashed over demolition of illegal structures.
That's one of the deputy trade ministers. Okay.
One of the deputy ministers of trade. And the story is captured on page 17. It says that a demolition exercise by the TMA task force to clear illegal structures in front of the Cocoa Village in Tema Community 2 area ended in confusion as the deputy minister of Transport and Member of Parliament for Tema West. He's a deputy minister of, he's a deputy minister of Trade with the Ghanaian Times. Carlos Kinsley-Hinkra led residents to attack the task force. The deputy minister, who was unhappy with the exercise, led the owners of the structures to resist the exercise undertaken on Thursday. Well, I will ask some questions.
So they're getting a portfolio of titles, Glover?
Yes.
But it's Carlos?
Yes.
Okay.
Were they notified that they needed to remove their illegal kiosks and other structures from those areas? And is it a good thing to make sure that our cities and towns have structures that only have the permits? I think that is a way to go.
We should call Mr. Hinkra when you're doing the AM talk. It'll be good to verify from him.
We'll want to verify from him. Get some words from him. Other stories we have: Ghanaians will soon reap from government policies. GES extends placement of BEC candidates into senior high schools. It's a great difficulty and a worry for many parents. On the back page, though, it's pause, give Apia time to rebuild. I also think so. All those chastising.
Which of the Apias?
Kwesi Apia. All those chastising
Coach
the black side.
Look,
the truth is that we lost the impetus to go to Russia 2018 when we lost that match against Egypt in Cairo, I believe, or Alexandria, or wherever we played that.
But you don't go to Egypt and expect you expect a win, honestly.
Yeah, but whatever it was, at least we could have we played we could have gone for a draw. But you know, we had drawn our first match. So we were in a very perilous situation, and then we went to lose the second match. When you have to study the ties, and it's not the first time we're playing World Cup qualifying. So we just didn't have it right before the gentleman came in to take up the reins of the Black Star. All of a sudden, we expect the Black Star to perform in magic. There's no way Black Star should go to Russia. There's no point. Because if we go, let's do, look, the fundamental thing is that we're not producing enough talents to have enough choices. If you look at teams like Cote d'Ivoire and Nigeria, they produce more than enough. So what's the whole point? They produce more than enough to choose from.
I didn't follow the game, by the way, but people said he didn't have...
Players,
any technical taxes, like he's technically dead.
Oh, my friend.
Not true.
Look, when Avram Grant was there, we said we didn't like it. We said bring a local code. They brought Kwesi Appiah. Everybody say, hey, Kwesi Appiah. Now he's in. We're talking. Ghana journalists. We like talk. Plenty.
They say he's technically bankrupt.
Look at them.
Nothing can change
and they can go and we have many coaches on TV and radio, but they can't coach a football team. Some of them have tried and they are and they have failed, so they are back on radio and TV doing commentary analysis.
So what's your theme this morning? Leave Coach Kwesi Appiah
They should leave him alone to have his own. Look, if he wasn't good, he would have gone to Sudan to go and do good work there.
I saw a lot of statistics.
We
are we out or we're in?
We're out. The journalists were expecting that Ghana will qualify so that they can get some per diems from their news organizations and they can go to Russia, but it won't happen. Feel free. Journalists.
Oh my God! But we still have a game though. We're going away to Uganda. Abi?
We have 3 games, 3 more games. But immediately we have a game.
But I don't know. We shouldn't expect to win against Uganda in their home.
No. We have a game with Congo directly. No. So we have
no, but there's this.
No. Listen. No. We have Congo. We have Congo. Then the next one we have Egypt here, and then we have Uganda in their home.
And I'm saying that forget about Uganda because there's no way if they came to
even
in your
before
country,
the Congo match we have lost.
Congo?
Oh, now some mathematics here boy. Now we cry 1 point. Now 1 point. Now Uganda had 7 points. Yeah, Egypt has 6 points. What are you talking about?
So we are out.
We were even out before we played that game. We had 1 point. One.
Well, maybe they can do some magic. We never know. Maybe Egypt will lose to, I don't know. Let's do the Daily Dispatch newspaper. This conversation would certainly continue. Right after the newspapers, we'll have detailed sports for those of us who missed the game.
You should give the man time to please.
Let's do the Daily Dispatch newspaper. Front page of the Daily Dispatch. Kennedy Japan tells his critics, God gives me oxygen, not you, so shut up.
Shut up.
Also, Kenya's presidential election and possible cover-up. So we know the big story that came out of Kenya, very much unexpected, even in Kenya, whether the governing party or the opposition. I mean, none of them expected the outcome of that Supreme Court hearing to be. This election that was held, this recent election, was now, we're nullifying it. So we have to hold another election within 60 days from the time that they gave that verdict. They were so not prepared for that. So politically, we don't know what's going to happen, but we know that there will be another election. But should that electoral commission that oversaw, if you like, manage the election, should they be the same people running this other one that's coming up in a little over,
I think in the narrative,
under 60 days?
In the narrative within the public space in Kenya is the fact that they have to now put together perhaps a new body or perhaps some eminent people to do this.
How?
Or perhaps also
the Supreme Court was direct. I mean, that's the judiciary. Somebody also runs the election. That's the electoral body.
Yes.
And remember that they didn't.
It was a system that was faulted.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they say run it again.
They didn't fault they didn't say the institution had a problem. They said the system.
Should the head of that institution still be there, or should he on his own say that okay, I failed because I thought this was without any hitches?
I think it's
and the
it's
court has overturned that decision. So I'm stepping aside, let a new person come in and run it.
I think that will give it some sort of credibility.
But we know that he's likely not to do it, right?
But we also know that the Kenyan elections is premised on a lot more tribal sentiments than many other things.
It's true, yeah. It is.
And I am told that the tribe that Uhuru comes from, many of them didn't come out to vote, though. And
really?
According to, I have a friend there, and he says what the Supreme Court ruling has set out is rather increase pent-up feelings tribally, and that also has not I think, added up to the whole conversation in a positive way.
We'll see.
So we'll see how that goes.
All right, we'll do a lot more of the Kenyan story when we hit the online review segment. Let's do the Business and Financial Times, and then let's go online quickly. The Business and Financial Times today, MFI's hanker for Apex body. IMF bailout extension gives comfort to the market. Stakeholder consultations on the 2018 budgets. Investors urged to capitalize on boom in financial stocks. These are some of the headlines in the Business and Financial Times newspaper. Let's hit myjoyonline.com now. In the meantime, you can send me text message. Yeah, send me a text message and let's share it with everybody else. Let's do myjoyonline.com, Roland. We're on to the online review now. Okay, so we go online, and Bamavi is about the port, etc. But we're starting with senior high school placement. Yeah, 424,092 qualify for free SHS. That story in the Finder, also here. Let's move on. National Board for Small Scale Industries Kickstart program to promote private sector development. Also another story on myjoyonline.com. Mobile money fraud on the rise. Corporate executive of MTN Ghana, Mrs. Cynthia Lumo, has warned customers and subscribers of the mobile money service against sharing their PIN numbers with vendors or agents. But some of the things that we've heard goes beyond PIN. I mean, and some people are beginning to suspect that there are people who are within the telcos themselves who kind of like defraud. Because there was a story that somebody shared on Facebook not too long ago that she goes to a vendor. She goes to a vendor, somebody that she knows. I mean, it's just like the guy down here. Call him Uncle Rob. Who? So it's just like going to Rob. There's a guy down our road. Gosh. Yeah, where you know.
He's a very good friend of mine.
Okay.
He sold me my first mobile phone. Yes.
So it's just like going there and getting money in my wallet and returning home, and then somebody calls me and says, I am Rob, like with his name, and says, oh, so I didn't send you the money. It was credit I sent instead of the money.
It's one of the tricks.
Yeah, it's one of the tricks.
The other one too is that but listen, they sent you the money, but it's not yours.
Yeah, but this is it all. The person gives his name as Roberts, whom, you know, by name, I would know if I went to him and I just returned and I went to put money in my wallet.
So you suspect that?
So, but how did the person know that money had just been transferred into my wallet?
Either it's in collusion with the vendor, or it's in collusion with somebody who is hacking the system and knows it. And
so the person says, okay, so you know what? The telco is going to call you so that we change it, but it means you have to punch in your PIN
and resend the money back.
Exactly. This person is saying that I was on the phone with him, and so when he says the telco was going to call me, then I just saw the pimping, the thing on my ear, and then I just looked. So she didn't even check. She didn't check, because we know that the advert that's been going around
says, it's no
if
excuse.
Somebody says they've mistakenly sent you something, make sure you check your balance before you do the transfer. But depending on how it comes to you, I mean, when the person narrated the incident, Roland,
this is no excuse. It's no excuse.
Well, I don't know, but if it happens to you,
you're not cautious.
If it happens
because
to you, you probably won't say that.
The PIN is a personal identification number.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be personal to you.
But the person you know that you describe as a very good friend of yours, somebody calls with his name, just within the same period when you had visited
this one,
him.
it won't happen to me.
And the person had said that, I pray it doesn't happen to you. I don't know how it's possible. And the person says, oh, Roland,
but I know people, it's happened to people. Yeah,
instead of the money, I rather send you
happened to Sandra and happened to Elizabeth.
I rather send you credit. So let's reverse the transaction that we just did. What would you do? Well, I don't know, but you've said it won't happen to you. But I'm sure people
it won't happen to me.
If you have an experience, you can share it with us. I'm just saying that it goes beyond just this one they're talking about sharing things.
I know about the concerns, and these are great concerns because a lot of, apparently, big transactions are taking place on mobile money.
Yeah.
I went to send money to somebody, and apparently I saw somebody come to, this is the first time, 4,000 Ghana cedis.
Yeah, I think on some you can do up to 5,000, I think.
I didn't even seen it before in my life.
Yeah. Well, let's move on. Let's look at the other headlines on our page. GMO technology can turn around Ghana's fortunes, according to seed producers.
Oh, so gradually we're accepting it.
I don't know. I don't know, but I'm sure that
I thought we had a whole coalition against it.
But we're consuming some of the things that I'm sure.
Yeah, because we're always afraid of technology.
Broadband Chamber wants stronger local content policies. Blackwell writes on developments in Kenya and why the vicious attacks on Mahama are most unfair. We know why people are kind of attacking him.
But I know that it's because of the politics.
He led that Commonwealth Observer mission to
I hear,
Kenya, and he was almost like spokesperson for the observers.
But I hear that one of the observer groups also.
Oh, lots of them.
Dr. Akwete was also part of.
Listen, all of them. They were speaking the same language. But he had even said that anybody who had
a difficulty, and that was what Dr. Akwete tried
to the courts.
Yes.
So that's what.
But I guess.
Listen, we just want to take what we want to take.
Oh, yeah.
If somebody wants
but
to
it's
blame
unfair,
him,
and that's what the media has to point out.
But it's also because people know that he's friends with Uhuru Kenyatta.
But what's that got to do with anything?
So people are just connected. Remember that Uhuru Kenyatta was once president of Ghana.
No, it's not a funny thing, really.
It's not.
Yeah,
we decided to make him president of Ghana.
No.
Was it me?
No. I'm not talking about the mistake that happened with the Independence Day.
Yeah.
I'm talking about, the media is projecting a certain stereotype.
But is this the media or is the people themselves?
It's the media.
Is it the media?
It's the media, because if the media doesn't
people on social media who decided to do this, they are not the media.
No, but this has found its way on mainstream media. That's what I'm talking about.
I just think it's the people. It has nothing to do with mainstream media.
Well,
Kenyan lawyers condemn Kenyatta's inappropriate remarks at judges. So we know that initially he had said, okay, he disagrees with the ruling, but he was going to abide and even call for peace and all that. But he comes back and he calls them, I think there's a local language that he used, but there's a definition of that, which is almost like tax, if you like, in terms of the judges. So the Law Society of Kenya has condemned President Uhuru Kenyatta's comments against Supreme Court judges who recently overturned the results of polls held last month. Interesting analysis I listened to. How do you separate the candidate Uhuru from the president Uhuru? It's difficult. It's a very difficult position to be in.
So they're saying because he's president, he can't make such comments.
Exactly, because that's in the name of the presidency. Okay.
All right. But before then, we had Raila Odinga telling his people they should go onto the streets. That one was a candidate. Well,
I guess because that
one is accepted.
I guess because eventually he ended up in the courts.
No. Yeah. Before the court.
Yeah, before the court, because he had even said he wasn't going to go to court.
Yes, he had been advised by the observer groups that go to court.
Yeah.
And he said
court was
his
not
people
an option.
should get onto the streets, and that led to the killings, right?
Well, they are disputing that as well, so
but that one is accepted when people go onto the streets and do.
Well, maybe we didn't because we didn't pay much attention to that.
Kenyatta says this, so that one's a difficulty. I think that's the whole.
No, maybe we're not. Maybe we're not privy. Maybe we're not privy to the condemnation that came after that from Raila Odinga. Maybe we're not privy, so we can't conclude like that. Paperless port transactions take off successfully, but I guess all eyes today would see when the heat is on. Is a working Monday. Let's see how paperless goes today. Quickly, let's just run through the other top story there on myjoyonline.com.
So we have City FM online. We have imported onions from Niger, killing Ghana's onion production. GES extends window for BEC candidates placement. Stop undermining anti-corruption journalism. Media Foundation West Africa warns GJA and don't head businesses with investigative reporting. GJA to media. And then we have other Marian Ansa also writing about lessons from Kenya's election. Okay, so let's go to the Africa page of the BBC. It says South Africa Deputy President admits affair. He denied reports of multiple affairs, saying political opponents are trying to smear him. Okay.
But he admits one affair.
Well, the man who wants to make South Africa great. And then we have Kenyatta vows to fix courts
So you see, so after the judgment, now he thinks there's something wrong.
Who voided his victory in presidential elections.
So now he thinks there's a problem.
PR chief resigns over South Africa campaign. We know this one has been an ongoing.
So see, after the judgment, he thinks there's a problem with the judges.
It's democracy in Africa, man.
It's his power, man. It's his power.
Even Donald Trump has problem with his judges.
When it dawns on you that you could be losing that power, then you're like, Charlie, I check the system. Otherwise, I will lose it totally. Okay, so this is it with our review segments. There'll be AM talk later on some of the big issues, Roland and his guests when they're seated. But for now, we have to make way for detailed sports. And the US Open is getting interesting. I wanted Sharapova out, and yes, she's out. Venus Williams is still in after the 4th round. And my favorite, Federer, is also still in there. So, yeah.
Is Nadal still in there?
Nadal is still in there. But, you know,
then Federer will not win.
One of them would certainly, okay, well, I can't say for sure.
Will they be facing each other?
But if you look at the table, they could be facing each other, but not in the finals.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'll be
but
good.
they would definitely have a new person in the final, somebody who has never been there before. Because if you look at the table, a lot of the known names, all the potential people
they're all
off. Massa.
I hope Federer wins, though. I love Federer.
Yeah.
The romantic tennis player.
He's a 5th-time US Open champion. Yeah, we want to
So did you watch any of the games over the weekend?
Of course. I mean, I watch it like, there was a rain delay yesterday, but I definitely did catch up later on in the evening. Yeah, but we'll give you, if you missed any of the games, I think, were they local matches? Were they local matches?
No.
Okay.
It was an international break, so they were international.
Okay. All right.